and it's thicker than blood and it's stronger than fear. So I could play in the strings of my heart, hoping that somebody will hear. I'm playing it loud cause the fate of the world is balanced on the edge of the knife. All I have is my voice to cut through the noise. That is where my power lies. Music is the most peaceful weapon in the world. Music is the most peaceful weapon in the world. Everybody wants to be heard, but no one's in a hurry to understand. We scream and we fight with all of our might instead of letting each other in. I see hope in the sunrise, in the promise of another day, where I could stand on the front lines with my brothers and sisters, united in the face of hate. Music is the most peaceful weapon in the world. Music is the most peaceful weapon in the world. Music is the most peaceful weapon in the world. Music is the most peaceful weapon in the world. And if we change hearts, we can change minds. And if we change minds, we can change the world. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Music is the most peaceful weapon in the world. Music is the most peaceful weapon in the world. Music is the most peaceful weapon in the world.
The most peaceful weapon in the world. Thank you, Aaron, for recommending a change up to your program so we could be fitting for current events. Welcome to this gathering of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Bowling Green. Whether you are here in person or online, we're so glad you're joining us. My name is Ryan Thomas. I'll be your service associate today. This month, we are putting our focus on a theme, paying attention. We all have devices, and you are encouraged today to do what you need to do to make it so that your devices allow you to be fully present here today. Today is March 1. I happen to really enjoy the month of March. I grew up in Iowa, and this is when the snow would melt, and I would see the snow disappear. I'm a college basketball fan, so I get March Madness. I love Reuben sandwiches. My birthday month, too. So, welcome March. Our Sunday services are different each week. We are a pluralistic faith. We honor the journey of everyone. Your spiritual journey is yours. And we're so glad to have guests like Nashville musician Aaron English with us on occasion. Very glad for him to be back. You'll hear more about him later. About him and from him. For Unitarian Universalists, the chalice is a symbol of the light of learning and the love of our community, and also a way of making it known that we are a beacon of safety for people who may need a place safe from oppression. Before I light the chalice, when I lived in Urbana, Illinois, many years ago, I had the privilege of learning Qigong from a Tai Chi master. I share some of his guidance with you now. Your attention to the now is what matters most. Keep your eyes open. See the sights ahead of you and in your periphery. Hear every sound in this room and the sound coming in from outside these walls. Feel every physical feeling of your body against the seat and floor, your hands in your lap, your breath, your blinking. Let your attention be fully in the present moment. If your mind begins to wander to some past or a possible future, kindly, gently, lovingly return your attention to your senses, to the here and now of your person. I invite you to pay close attention. Now, our opening reading. Amber will read something from Samantha Lynn Wilson. We practice being called.
Good morning. We practice being called by Samantha Lynn Wilson. A call to worship is secretly a call to focus our attention. Choosing to focus our attention is counterculture. Daily, we are called to worship at the altar of many devices. Surveillance systems we let take lead over our every waking moment. We are called by headlines set purely on our activation and by tools that gamify our every human connection. We are not called, we are led. We are not led, we are entrapped. Instead, here, we practice being called. We are called to bring our attention to the altar of unpredictable human relatedness. We are called by these ancestors, this wood, this room's particular light, this chalice's particular fire, and these children. We are called to focus our attention on a foolhardy and open-hearted commitment to share a future together we cannot cancel nor control. In the words of the poet-farmer Wendell Berry, we are called here to do something today that does not compute. Spirit of life, call our collective attention to this precise moment, the threshold between then and now, the moment upon which we hang our honest promises like portraits chiseled and framed by our own hands, imperfectly and together. Come, let us worship together.
Please rise in body and spirit as we sing together number 391, Voice Still and Small.
This is a beautiful and simple hymn. I'm going to play it through all the way once so that you can hear it.
Still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing. In dark and rain, sorrow and pain, still you remain, singing. Calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years, singing. Why still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing. In storm and rain, sorrow and pain, still you remain, singing. Calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years, singing.
Thank you. Be seated. Each week, we take a moment to read together some of our Unitarian Universalist heritage. Today, I chose for us to read one of the new values, transformation. We adapt to the changing world. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian and Universalist heritage. Never complete and never perfect. Let's sing the children out. Go lifted up, love bless your way. Moonlight, starlight, guide your journey into peace and the brightness of day. We will now have a few moments for meditation. I encourage you to consider the guidance you heard earlier. The singing bowl will lead us into silence. And it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker. He's been with us a number of times, and it's such a joy to have him each time. Aaron English is a Nashville-based singer, songwriter, pianist. He tours North America and Europe, playing more than 200 concerts a year. Aaron is also the founder, director of the International Youth Music Project, which is a charity that supports music schools for orphaned and refugee children in East Africa. Highlights of Aaron's career include radio hits in Italy and in the US, a song on the Fox TV drama Bones, and a US State Department-backed music tour of Pakistan. Welcome.
Hi, that's great to be back. Thanks for having me. I'm going to talk about spring. A few weeks ago, there was a day in Nashville that was so splendid, and today is shaping up to be another one, that it was almost impossible to stay inside. I'm kind of surprised you're all here. The air was so warm, and the sky was doing that particular blue thing that it only does in late winter, and there was something palpable in it, like the earth was ready. It was easy to believe that winter was done. We in Nashville were definitely done with winter. Winter wasn't done. Less than a week later, temperatures dropped sharply, and then the winter roared back with another sudden storm. We all know how that goes. Spring can be such a tease. And that can be exasperating, especially this year after that long, frigid ice-mageddon that we endured in February. I am so done with being cold. But I've been sitting with that exasperation, and I've come to think it's trying to teach me something. And I'll pass that wisdom along to you. I want to introduce you to a word that I've fallen in love with this week as the weather has warmed up. This word has to do with spring. It's called Djiba. The Noongar people of southwest Australia are considered to be the world's oldest continuous living culture, between 45 and 50,000 years old. Same people. Unlike most of us, we divide the year into 4 seasons, but the Noongar recognize 6, including 2 springs. The first one, Djiba, is this season right now. It's not yet full spring. It's the first stirring. It's warm days interrupted by cold rain, budding before the blooming. It is a time of eagerness and vitality. You can almost feel it, a kind of waiting, a readiness. But the earth is not yet committed. It's playing chicken. So Djiba is a season that demands excitement and patience simultaneously. I find it remarkable to have a word for just that feeling. Most of us would just call it a false spring and feel vaguely impatient and irritated, like I did when that storm came back a few weeks ago. The Noongar people, and for that matter, virtually every human culture until about 5 minutes ago in historic terms, they read the seasons correctly because they had to, because it was a matter of life and death. There was no central heating, no electricity, of course. There were less safety nets. No calendar apps, no weather forecasts. When they asked whether spring had truly arrived, they looked up to the sky and out at the land, and they trusted what they saw. Because getting it wrong had consequences. Emerged too early, and a sudden return of the cold could be genuinely dangerous. A late frost could kill the crops you just planted or freeze the hunting party that you just sent out. If you wait too long, and the tender first plants would be eaten already, or the early game, the early flocks and herds would already be gone. So they learned to read as a matter of life and death. Read very carefully and patiently. For the ancient Greeks, spring arrived when the star Arcturus first appeared on the eastern horizon before dawn. Eastern. For the Inca, it was the return of the Pleiades. In ancient China, spring came when the handle of the Big Dipper pointed east at dusk. Other cultures read the arrival of migrating birds or the budding of a particular flower. For the vast majority of our human existence, answering the question, what day is it, meant looking up at the stars or the birds or the trees rather than down at a screen. The cosmos itself was the calendar, the world was the clock. And they didn't rage against the cold snap that followed the warm day. They expected it. They knew that the season wouldn't arrive in a straight line. Their patience was wisdom, hard-won over thousands of years of paying attention as a matter of life and death. Now let's circle back to us here today. I loved the reading this morning. Thank you. We live in an always-on world, always competing for our attention, of course. And we're so busy being competed for that we've cut ourselves largely free from those rhythms that our ancestors relied on. And in doing so, we've lost some of our tolerance for gradualism, for the kind of attentive, patient waiting that Jilba required and TikTok does not. We want to know now. We want growth to be linear. We want to plot our progress on a chart and watch the line go consistently upward, like the stock market, hopefully. This is where the weather can become a teacher. We're in church today, so let's talk about spiritual paths. Whatever our individual spiritual path is, many of us begin or recommit to a spiritual journey with a clear sense of where we want to go. In a straight line, ideally. We pick up the practices of reflection, mindfulness, forgiveness, intention setting, gratitude, prayer. And we have our moments of success. We feel them like a warm, sunny day, and we think, oh, this is it, winter is over. And then old patterns resurface, a flash of resentment, impatience. The familiar habit of self-criticism comes bubbling up right on cue. The temperature drops and the snow returns. And it is so easy in that moment to think, I must be doing this spiritual thing wrong. Maybe this works for other people, but not for me. But what if that cold snap is not evidence that spring hasn't come? What if it's just evidence that spring moves the way spring always moves, not in a straight line, but in a direction? The Noongar elder watching the sky, Jilba, didn't abandon their understanding of the season because one morning was cold. They held both things at once, the knowledge that the season was turning and the patience to wait out the reversals. The evidence was in the stars, in the birds, in 10,000 years of ancestral wisdom, and one cold morning couldn't undo that. So as you think about your spiritual path, what are your Arcturus or Pleiades or Big Dipper moments, the small, quiet signs that something in you is genuinely shifting, even when a hard week of snow and cold seems to contradict it? Maybe you've had a flash of real compassion that surprised you. Or the moment you caught an old reaction and chose differently. The morning you felt, without quite knowing why, that something in you was ready. The ice was finally breaking and something was poking through towards the sunlight. Those are your signs. They are real even when the snow comes back. Don't let a cold Friday erase what a warm Tuesday just told you. A spiritual path like Jilba asks us to hold two things at once: the eagerness of new growth and the patience to let it arrive on its own schedule. Our ancestors couldn't rush the stars. They couldn't argue the Pleiades into rising sooner so that you could plant sooner, or the birds into migrating so that you could hunt sooner. They could only watch and trust and proceed wisely when the signs were clear, knowing all along that the cold snaps were part of the process, not a reversal of it. We would do well to recover a little bit of that wisdom, to be as gentle with ourselves in our own cold snaps as we would be with the earth itself, trusting that this is not winter returning, but spring working in the only way that spring knows how. Years ago, I was traveling with an Indian friend in India who was an expert in endangered bird species. We were going to try to catch a glimpse of the Siberian cranes as they migrated through northern India. They had not appeared at all in the previous year, and they were believed by many to have gone extinct. That night, while we were staying in a nearby hostel, he suddenly woke up, bolt upright, at 3 a.m. He was certain that he had heard the call of the Siberian cranes while he was sleeping. At dawn, we scrambled over to the National Park office, where he asked the Indian officials there whether the cranes had arrived. He had heard them in the night. No, they said. They had neither heard nor seen any sign of the cranes, and their migration season was almost over. This would be 2 years that they failed to appear, and many field experts suspected that the cranes would never arrive again, that they had gone extinct. Surely he had just dreamed that he had heard them in the night. 8 hours later, we're standing in a rice paddy, and a flock of Siberian cranes, believed to be extinct by many experts, in case you've heard, they flew overhead and then began landing in the nearby fields all around us. Definitely very much not extinct. His patience and his incredible listening and his embodied wisdom that woke him up in the middle of the night were rewarded. So what is your Siberian crane on your spiritual journey? What is that elusive spiritual gift or lesson that you have been waiting for, waiting to arrive? And how patiently and how carefully can you wait and listen? If it arrives in the night, will you notice? Will it wake you up? The thing about our spiritual growth, like the thing about Jilba, is that it is happening whether or not we can see it clearly on any given day. The constellation is still moving. The birds are coming. Underneath the snow, the bulbs are doing what bulbs do. Something is being conceived even before anything has been born. Our job, if I can put it that way, is just to keep watching, keep noticing, keep being present. Perfect quote, by the way, of your Qigong teacher. Our job is to stay in the practice even when it doesn't seem to be working, to be as gentle with ourselves in the cold snap as we would be with the earth, trusting that this is not winter returning permanently, but spring working in the only way spring knows how to work. Your spiritual journey requires you to hold and remember the warmth of Tuesday in your body as evidence of where things are heading, even if Friday brings snow. The Noongar word for the season that follows Jilba, the second spring, the next spring, is called the season of birth. Kambarang, which translates as the full flowering. It's the time when everything that was conceived in the cold and the patience of Jilba finally comes into the world. Most of us are not there yet. We're only in the first spring. The in-between time, the time of budding, of watching, of patience and eager waiting. But Jilba is not a lesser season for that. It has its own beauty, its own specific wisdom, and if we can learn to inhabit it fully, watching for the signs, trusting the direction that we're traveling in, holding our setbacks and our mistakes as lightly as possible, then this in-between time is not lost time at all. The Jilba is a time of becoming. So, fellow travelers on the path of spiritual growth, welcome to Jilba. Keep watching the sky, keep trusting the signs. Spring is coming, I promise. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. If you have questions about Unitarian Universalism or about joining this congregation, please speak with a member of our membership team. Their name tags have an open book symbol. Anyone care to raise your hand who's on 3 right here? Thank you. On second Sundays after the service, you can join in a question and answer session with our membership team in the Balu Lounge. This congregation and the work we do especially in times such as these, is supported by the voluntary generosity of all who contribute. The offering is a sacrament of the Free Church. You may place your donation in the plate as it comes to you or on your way out. You can use the QR codes on the screen. As we enjoy the music, the offering will be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared hopes and values.
This is a cowboy song, a spring song from Kenya.
Un coro no cigarunade, cospiro che ruru doquetala. Toya yenaten gie, un coro no cigarunade, cospiro che ruru doquetala. Auma pomimcha, cospiro. Yerunu doketala Uma pomimcha Kospiru Yerunu doketala Haye 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 Haye, haye,
Thank you, Aaron. And thank you all for the gifts. May we use them wisely in the service of our congregation and our community. We have a lot going on in our community. It seems like lately it's even more than usual. This week, on Wednesday, March 4th, is our monthly game night. Starts at 5 p.m. Come on in. And we've got two series of a new program called Harvest the Power.
I'd just like to take a moment to invite you to consider signing up for Harvest the Power, because today is the last day to register for that program. This is a 6-session series of leadership development for congregations like ours. So we are hoping that people who are current leaders or future leaders or team members or just want to develop your leadership skills, that you consider signing up. Harvest the Power was developed by the Unitarian Universalist Association for congregations like ours. The sessions will take place on March 7th and 8th and March 21st and 22nd. So I hope you will consider signing up. It is co-led by me and by Linda Fisher, and we look forward to having you join us. The sign-up sheet is right outside the sanctuary on the table, just to the left of this door. I think that's it. Yeah.
And we had our second Singing Resistance gathering Saturday, and we will continue for the foreseeable future on Saturdays. If you are at all interested, contact me. We also have Instagram and an email there. Also in March, we'll be hosting let's do Getting to Know You first. Tuesday, March 24, 6:30 to 8 p.m. And then also we have a webinar it's creative. So we've got these opportunities coming up. Oh, these are the webinar watch parties. So March 3rd, March 12, March 18, March 24. Finally, kudos to Chad Jansen, Anna, and Janine for putting together the furniture for the children's space in the Emerson room. If you'd like to help with painting our new library, please sign up in the lobby or talk with Janine or Roxanne. Thank you so much. So there are plenty more opportunities to learn about what's going on. Feel free to check us out on Facebook or on our website. For a final reading, it won't be a reading. It will be an opportunity to experience some paying attention. So I'm going to invite you to be fully present, to think about the things that I mentioned earlier. Keep your eyes open, ears open. Sense your body. And we're going to sing something that we learned or heard a couple weeks ago. So at least there's some familiarity. Some of you even know the harmony parts. coming into your ears, but also it's happening in your breath, whole body, and it's happening immediately around you. Hold on. Hold on. My dear ones, here comes the dawn. Hold on, hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn. Hold on, hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn. Hold on, hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn. Hold on, hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn. Hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn. We hope you found this service meaningful, and we invite you to share your thoughts about today's service. You can send comments to sunday-services@uucbg.org. There's also a blue box in the back. There's also an online form. Next Sunday, we will have Matt Foraker speaking on Before Eve, the First Woman Chose Freedom. Matt.
Can I actually say something?
Oh, sure.
So some of you know that a couple years ago I had to have brain surgery, and they cut into my head and removed a tumor. Well, I wasn't sure that I would be the same person afterwards, and I actually warned friends that if I came out of the experience loving country music, to shoot me. Well, I didn't come out of the experience loving country music, but I did come out of the experience with a fascination in the Hebrew language, and I started translating from Hebrew, the Hebrew Bible, into English, which is a very painstaking and slow process. But one of the things that happened is I discovered something that I'd never known about before called Lilith. And that was falling down a rabbit hole much, much deeper and much bigger than I ever would have anticipated. And it's resulted in the sermon that's coming up next week. I've put at least 4 times the effort into this upcoming sermon than any sermon that I've done before. Now, the sermon is not 4 times as long,
Just the introduction for it.
but it is a phenomenal amount of effort, and you are all most welcome to come and hear it. It's taken over my life, and I'm not complaining, but it's a subject that I'm blown away that I made it to the age that I am without having heard about this. It's right in front of our faces in the discrepancy between Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, and yet we don't see it. So it's an amazing topic, and you're all most welcome to come and hear about it.
Thank you, Matt. So we invite you to join us again, either in person or online. Until then, be well and go in peace.